outsiders take on the big banks in our next movie review. The Big Short, directed by Adam McKay, starring Christian Bale, Steve Carell, Brad Pitt, and Ryan Gosling. This movie is about four outsiders who knew about the big bank disaster that was happening and how they expose it to the world and try to tell the big banks what's about to happen and how they take on the big banks to prove that they are scamming the American people of a whole lot of money. Christian Bale plays Michael Burry, a guy who likes to hang around in his office with no shoes on. He doesn't wear a suit. He has a glass eye and he likes to play heavy metal music and play the drums a lot of times. But he knows numbers very well and he can predict the big bank disaster that is going to happen before it happens. This movie's set in the early 2000s. Then you have Steve Carell, who works in the banking industry. His character's name is Mark Baum, and he is very angry at the big banks, how they've been scamming the American people and ripping them off. And when he hears about this big bank crash that's about to happen, he gets on the train of trying to expose this to the American people and trying to prove that the big banks are ripping the people off and exposing them. Brad Pitt plays Ben Rickert, who is a retired banker, and he's very good in this movie. Everybody did like him. Marissa Tomei plays Steve Carell's wife in the movie. She's great. Ryan Gosling in the movie plays Jared Bennett, who is another banking analyst that is able to recognize the disaster before it happens. And basically these four outsiders take on the big banks and try to expose the disaster before it happens. And this is a really, really good movie. I really did like this movie. I really did like how the bank rhetoric that they talk about in this movie is explained very well, and how at times it sounds very simple. Other times it sounds very complicated and almost like a foreign language at times. But the times when it sounds good, it really is exciting and very riveting, which is weird because this is a movie about banking. A movie like this should be boring, but the way they do this is not boring. It's really exciting because you see these outsiders taking on the big banks, Bank of America, Lehman Brothers, Morgan Stanley, Chase, and Wachovia are mentioned in this movie. The other big banks like Wells Fargo and Citigroup are not mentioned, which I found that to be a bit odd, but oh well. And this movie is really good and very exciting. However, the fact that there are a couple other actors that I felt didn't really need to be mentioned in this movie, and the fact that some of these celebrity cameos in this movie, like Selena Gomez, explaining some of the banking rhetoric to us, seemed to be a bit weird. Like, what the heck does Selena Gomez know about banking? Really? I thought that was a bit odd. I mean, seeing Karen Gillan in the movie and Margot Robbie talk about banking makes sense because Margot Robbie was in Wolf of Wall Street and Karen Gillan is a pretty smart actress. But Selena Gomez, really? I don't know. Aside from that, this is a really, really good movie. I really did like this, and it really is exciting watching outsiders take on the big banks. So I'm going to give this movie a B+. Definitely check this movie out.